Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Jose and welcome back to my channel where I share my reactions to all news regarding sports. The ultimate goal of mine is to analyze sports while also sharing my thoughts and opinions with others who share a similar passion for sports. The 2022 NFL season begins on September 8th, and each week we will take a look at every respective division in terms of where it has been and where it currently stands. Not only does this give us an opportunity to reflect on its historical significance, but it also allows us a chance to take a peek at what this season has in store for us. This week we'll take a look at the AFC East, where we have a division built on the importance of defense. With defensive-minded head coaches in Robert Saleh, Sean McDermott, and of course Bill Belichick, it is fair to say that there is a certain level of devotion to stopping opposing offenses. As each franchise develops their own distinct culture, they all share the same goal: a Lombardi Trophy and the right to call themselves Superbowl champion. This division is no stranger to the biggest Sunday of the season, as each have made an appearance throughout their existence. The Super Bowl has seen a representative from the AFC East on 21 occasions, with 9 of those representatives emerging victorious. However, 6 of those 9 resulted in New England Patriots championships, as they added to their illustrious run on top of the NFL. A run that began 2 decades ago, with a young defensive coordinator named Bill Belichick and a young quarterback named Tom Brady, a formula that the New York Jets hope to replicate with their ongoing rebuild. Second-year head coach Robert Saleh hopes to improve upon his 4-13 season by becoming more competitive within the AFC East. The Jets would last win a division in 2002, and since winning Super Bowl III in 1969, they have emerged as division champions only 3 times. The Jets' last playoff appearance was in 2010, with Rex Ryan as head coach and Mark Sanchez as their quarterback, where they would lose back-to-back AFC championship games. Since then, they have created a home at the bottom of the division, with the lowest point being a 2-14 2020 season that would result in the firing of Adam Gase and the hiring of former San Francisco defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. The hiring of Saleh would begin a new era in the Jets organization, as they would use the second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft to select Zach Wilson, a quarterback out of BYU. In his rookie campaign, Wilson would struggle with a developing offense, as he would rank 30th in passing yards and 31st in touchdown passes, with only 9 touchdowns to his name. Not only did this inexperience come into play, but the struggles his offensive line experienced would result in 44 sacks, 3rd in the NFL, as well as 370 yards lost due to sacks, which led the league. With a pair of young running backs in Elijah Moore and Breece Hall, the Jets hope to ignite a spark in their offense that will help alleviate the stress off of their struggling defense. Although there are some bright spots on their defense, such as linebacker CJ Mosley, who ranked 4th in total tackles last season, there are far too many holes that need to be filled on the defensive side of the ball. For a division that prides itself in defense, the Jets are unfortunately struggling in that department, as they allowed the most overall yards per game, while also allowing the 4th most rushing yards and 3rd most passing yards, resulting in the worst defense in 2021, as they allowed nearly 30 points per game. The Jets' offense would produce almost half of that, as they average 18 points per game while also producing the 26th most yards per game. But with a new season comes new opportunities. And although the Jets' struggles have been well documented, can Wilson emerge as a savior for the New York Jets fans? As the start of the 2022 NFL season, Wilson will be 23 years of age, and with so many years ahead of him, can he realize his potential with the Jets, or will the never-ending cycle of defeat continue on? Robert Saleh is not the only former San Francisco coordinator to enter their first head coaching job within the AFC East, as the Miami Dolphins welcome Mike McDaniel, former offensive coordinator of the aforementioned 49ers, as their new head coach following the release of Brian Flores. In an interesting contrast of styles, the Miami Dolphins decided to move away from the defensive-minded Flores in favor of an offensive guru in McDaniel. Flores finished his 3 seasons as head coach with a record of 24-25. And in what was a surprising release, was replaced with a first-time head coach in McDaniel, who hopes to inject a much-needed boost to the Miami offense. Under Flores, the Dolphins were recognized for their effort on defense, more so than their offense, as they recorded 48 sacks on the year, good enough for 4th in the league, but could only score 20 points per game on offense, while the San Francisco 49ers under McDaniel provided 25 points per game. Miami is familiar with explosive offenses, as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game of football called Miami home for nearly 2 decades. Dan Marino made a career of leading exciting offenses, but since retiring in 2000, the Dolphins have only won 2 division titles, and last winning a playoff game in 2008. In 2021, a 9-8 Dolphins team would just miss the playoffs, but they remain aggressive in their pursuit of football excellence, Having not won a Super Bowl since 1973 under Don Shula, the Dolphins hope that the talent that they have acquired in the offseason can help their chances at competing at a high level. Miami was able to add 3 quality running backs to their roster in Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Raheem Mostert, all of whom have well-needed experience in the NFL. In fact, each individual had spent the past season in the NFC West. Edmonds with the Cardinals, Mostert with the Niners, and Michel with the Super Bowl winning Rams. With Myles Gaskin being the primary ball carrier 1 season ago, he would average 36 yards a game. But with such a deep running back group, expect Miami to implement the running styles McDaniel utilized in San Francisco. Miami's primary weapon on offense and wide receiver Jalen Waddle contributed 1,015 yards and 6 touchdowns to their offense, but he will now be paired with one of the NFL's most explosive and fastest receivers in Tyreek Hill. The former Kansas City Chief had his own 1,200-yard season with 10 trips to the end zone last year, but in a trade that would see Kansas City receiving a first, second, and fourth rounder in the 2022 draft, as well as a 4th and 6th rounder in the 2023 draft, would send him to Miami. It is certain that the Dolphins are not lacking in offensive firepower. However, questions remain regarding the abilities of their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. As he enters his 3rd year in the NFL, Tua continues to struggle as a young quarterback in this league, with the 27th most passing yards and only 16 touchdown passes, which ranks 23rd. Many experts tend to point the finger at his performance from Miami's struggles. Upon looking at their turnover differential, Miami is +0, meaning they give away the ball as much as they take it away from their opposition. Not only do they lead the NFL in fumbles with 12, but they have the 4th most turnovers in the league with 26. Not to say that Tua is to blame for these issues, but it is certainly an indication as to how the offense has been run in recent years. Speaking of running, last season the Dolphins averaged just 92 yards a game rushing, so expect to see Mike McDaniel to try to remedy this with his never-ending supply of backs, as they hope to run all over the division this upcoming season. Over the course of the past 20 years, the AFC East has been run by one franchise, the New England Patriots. Between the years 2001 and 2020, the Patriots would win 17 division titles, appear in 13 AFC Championship games, enter 9 Super Bowls, and ultimately win 6 Lombardi Trophies. The 2 constant figures during this reign of dominance, head coach Bill Belichick and future Hall of Famer Tom Brady. Often compared to the evil empire, these Patriots would prove to be the standard of what championship excellence appeared to be throughout the NFL. As Master Yoda once said, "Always 2 there are, no more, no less. A master and an apprentice." This proved to be evident with Brady and Belichick. However, after Brady signed with the Buccaneers in 2020, this left a void within the Patriot organization. Who would fill in as their starting quarterback? New England did attempt to introduce Cam Newton into their system, but that would result in a disappointing 7-9 season. Enter Mack Jones. With the 15th pick in the 2021 draft, the New England Patriots selected former Alabama quarterback Jones, who they hoped would lead them into the future. Drawing similar comparisons to Brady, many believe that it would not be long until the Patriots rose from the ashes, just like Darth Vader and Darth Sidious would in The Empire Strikes Back. In his first season, Jones would lead New England to a 10-7 record and a spot in the playoffs. A clear standout for Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jones would throw for over 3,800 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions, but would lose that award to Jamar Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Patriot offense would score the 6th most points per game, with 27.2, and held opposing teams to just under 18 points per game, which was the 2nd in the NFL. Behind cornerback J.C. Jackson's 8 interceptions and Matt Judon's 12.5 sacks, as well as an offensive weapons in Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers, New England appeared to be on the right track heading into the playoffs. New England would ultimately fall in the AFC wildcard round, as Jones would throw for a solid 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions that would result in a 47-17 defeat against a team we will get to fairly soon. At the beginning of the 2021 season, many believed that Mack Jones was the most NFL-ready quarterback prospect coming out of that draft, and it is fair to say that he may have lived up to the hype. However, a playoff appearance is not something the Patriots pride themselves in. As Jones continues to adjust to the NFL, and Coach Belichick continues to retool the Death Star, it is only a matter of time until the Patriots begin to knock on that Super Bowl door once again. However, as the evil empire known as the New England Patriots continues to lurk in the shadows, a new hope has emerged as the leading contenders within the AFC East in the form of the Buffalo Bills. Fresh off of back-to-back division titles, the Buffalo Bills hope to avenge a disappointing loss at the hands of the Chiefs last season in the AFC divisional round. Heading into the 2022 NFL season, the Bills are ranked number 1 in ESPN's power rankings, and for good reason as well. Not only do they have one of the deepest rosters in the NFL, but they have the number 1 defense from last season, allowing only 17 points per game. It also helps to have one of the most dynamic quarterback-wide receiver duos in the NFL, with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, who help produce 28.4 points per game, ranking 3rd throughout the NFL. This turnaround in Buffalo can be attributed to 2 factors, and that is the hiring of head coach Sean McDermott in 2017, who had gone on to 4 playoff appearances over the course of his 5 seasons in Buffalo. With a record of 49-32 and 2 AFC East titles, this is certainly the most successful run of the franchise since head coach Marv Levy, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, and Bruce Smith reached 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s, with Josh Allen coming off a season where he recorded over 4,400 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 rushing touchdowns. He emerges as one of the favorites to win the NFL MVP, and since being drafted in 2018, Allen has increased his ability to run the ball while also providing the highest passer rating in postseason history, with 149.0 this past playoffs. Bills Mafia also welcomes key additions to their team in the form of Jamison Crowder, Tavon Austin, and tight end O.J. Howard on offense. It is also worth noting that by signing 2-time Super Bowl winner Von Miller to a 6-year deal also helps bolster an already impressive defense. The Bills are looking to wreak havoc on the league this upcoming season, and it all begins on NFL kickoff as they visit the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams on September 8th. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, share it with other sports fans, and subscribe to the channel. Check out some of the other videos I've done in the past, and also be sure to support my weekly podcast, 2 Beans in a Pod, where every Friday my brother Jared and I discuss topics regarding sports, movies, and just pop culture in general. I'll be uploading these episodes on this channel, but you can also find a link on the podcast down below in the description or simply wherever you find your podcast. Don't forget to comment down below who you think will win the AFC East this season, and as always, my name is Jose, and I'll catch you in the next video.